It's our favorite drum beat of the week. Welcome back to Doubling Down here on Trust the Profits and also on Nessa Nation. I'm Colin Sheehan, your host of Doubling Down with my co-host Vinny Blonde. Vinny, I'm feeling depressed, my friend. I'm on a 10-week losing
Oh,
streak, and since we went on
yeah,
Nessa Nation,
it's
the Nessa Nation viewers are like, these
or
guys stink. Why do they have a
suck.
show?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's been rough. We got the first leg home last week, and then there's nothing in the second leg. I took a shot with a kind of a long shot there as a single, and she was a long shot for a reason. She did not do much running. I think she finished fifth. It's like,
Vote No
so
gave me a
yeah,
little excitement on the front end for a little bit, but then faltered.
right. So yeah, it's been a rough couple weeks definitely, but we're getting close. I mean, we at least hit a leg last week. That was
You did. You did. I
the wor
didn't.
the worst part. I think we were talking the other day, and it's like the worst part is it's like we're picking the sequence that we really like to cover for these, and then it's like when we're actually looking at the whole card, like we're hitting the rest of the card, and it's like we've just been missing the two races that we cover. So it's been a little struggle, but we'll turn it around.
We'll turn it around. Both those numbers on the right there are negative, and we don't like to be in the negative. So we're going to get some winners. I don't know
Yeah.
as far as the ticket this week, how big of a ticket it's going to be depending upon what the results are. But let's just start with some winners, and then we'll worry about what the payout
Right.
is. Uh, if you're playing along here, you can play along with us. Mama Four, congratulations for last week's being the leader, hitting that daily double, winning 2260 on the leaderboard. This month's prize is a $50 gift card to DGen Designs. It's a 4-week contest, so we're playing for the whole month of August. So if you didn't get it in the first week, you still have plenty of time to get up and see your name on the leaderboard. Only two won last week, so plenty of opportunities still left for you. And you can scan that QR code there on the right, or we'll put the link down in the description if you're here on Trust the Profits YouTube, so you can play along with us. And we're going to stick at Saratoga. I texted you kind of jokingly. I'm like, Vinny, I think we just need to get away from
Yeah.
Saratoga because we're struggling. And then you look at the fields and you got the Alabama, the Skidmore. It's too enticing of talent and of interests to go elsewhere, right?
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, I didn't see anything fantastic away from Saratoga really this weekend. So
King's Plate.
we're gonna stick here. Yeah, King's Play. I don't know. I feel like that's like the races around the King's Plate itself is very good. The races around it, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't play Woodbine enough, but we're staying at Saratoga.
Don't let Sean Patrick Nolan hear you talking about Woodbine. He'll be
I
there.
know.
He'll be
I know.
there if
He'll
you're up
he'll rip
there.
me for that.
If you're up at Woodbine, look out for Sean this weekend. He's going to be there for the King's Play. We're going to go to Saratoga. We're going to go for race 9 on Saturday. It is the Skidmore Stakes, 5.5 furlongs on the turf for 2-year-olds. Purse of 150,000. The class rating on Equibase RaceLens is an 87. 2 horses coming in from Ascot, 2 with big wins at Saratoga, 2 first-time starters, maybe. And I say maybe because Schwarzenegger there is a horse that I want to talk to you about. But we record this on Wednesday night, so we want to be clear in letting you know that this tweet came out today from DRF Mike Welsh. That Schwarzenegger, one of the most hyped 2-year-olds here this summer, is cross-entered on the turf Thursday. So if he runs in the turf on Thursday, he's going to be scratched out on Saturday. If he doesn't run on Thursday, he will run in Saturday. And I asked you before we started, would you include this horse on your ticket? And I will let you go from there.
Yeah. So originally it looked like it was supposed to rain in the middle of this week up here at Saratoga. I live about 10 minutes away from the track, so weather's usually the same where I am as it is up there. Uh, it didn't really. It sprinkled a little bit today for about 5 minutes, and that's it. And now there's no rain really in the forecast. So this horse was entered in both spots because I think they want to get the race in. This apparently is one of Ward's top 2-year-olds, and I'm going to guess that the goal with this one is the Breeders' Cup. So they gotta get him racing. He's been working for a while. I think he had a minor hiccup a month or two ago, where I think he has a little bit of gap in his workout when he was working in Kentucky. he was supposed to start or something, and then something. I think maybe the race came off and they just didn't start him. I forget exactly what happened, but he's been entered before.
He was
So
supposed to
he's
run
entered here.
Whitney weekend.
Yeah. So like he's entered here. He's entered on Thursday in a maiden race. I think at this point they're just trying to get him. They're trying to get him racing. So he would be on my ticket. I'm under the impression though, based on the weather report, he will not be running Saturday, and he's likely going to be a super short price on the Thursday card in that maiden special weight. So that is why I did not include him on my ticket. If the hype's right, maybe there would be value here if he does run in this spot because of the other experience in the race. I doubt you're going to find value on him in the maiden race though. But that's why he's not on my ticket here.
Breeding not this time has just been unbelievable out of a lemon drop kid dam. Over here on the right, $950,000. That's all. That's all it took to buy Schwarzenegger. And what a name too, right?
Yeah.
Gonna take money just because of that. So we'll assume that Schwarzenegger's out. We'll collapse his past performances here, which you can do pretty quickly on RaceLens. Where you want to start with who you're going to use otherwise?
I guess we'll just start with the number 2, Sandal Song. I really like this horse here for George Weaver. Won a stakes on debut at Gulfstream. You don't usually see that, and when you do, when they win a stakes on debut, usually a pretty good sign that connections think this horse is talented enough to be a legit stakes horse. Wins on debut, goes to Ascot, and doesn't really disappoint. Yes doesn't win, but he ran third. Against some of the best, those are the best 2-year-old turf horses that go over to Ascot, and he ran third. That's really good. I don't I don't think you if he improves off of that, I think he's a single, and that's exactly what I did here. Is I singled this horse because I think if this horse is improved off of his maiden win and then that Ascot race, he's just going to be ultra tough. He gets Irad, who is just on fire this meet. He's all but locked up the jockey title pretty much already, and we still got 3 weeks to go. So I really like this horse. What did you think of him?
I do too. I'm including him on my ticket, and what you just said is the reasoning for me. George Weaver is going to send over 2 from Royal Ascot, the number 2 here and also the number 4. I'm following Irad, who's riding on this too, as opposed to the 4, which is, look at this, Vinny, with George
Manny.
Weaver and with Irad Ortiz, you're getting 38% in 21 starts. I mean, these two together, that just shows you. And I pulled those numbers too.
Yeah.
If you go to the 4, and you look at Manny and Weaver, it's 18%, which is nothing to sneeze at, but you're following the better jockey and one that is just on fire up at Saratoga. And then the other thing that bounced or popped out to me, look at the speed figures here using Equibase, which I think you can trust on these races overseas. They do a pretty good job with their speed figures, 77 and 74. When you go and take a look at number 2, Sandal Song, I mean, not only is it 100, it's blue, which signifies the highest speed figure in the race at the distance. That was a Group 2. So I had a hard time leaving this horse off my ticket as well. I had another angle there for you on the right. We got the RaceLens angle of the day. In the last 6 months, you can actually use RaceLens to look at average stride length and top mile per hour speed using GPS. And so that's a number angle that I have pulled up. And I know you're kind of really getting into the weeds when you're getting to that level. But when you have the longest average stride length at Saratoga combined with the top mile per hour speed in the race, that's hitting at 20% with a positive ROI of 19%. So those two combined, and so you start looking for some angles when you get these 2-year-olds to try and separate yourselves from the rest of the betting public, and that was an angle that popped. So I couldn't get past using the 2 Sandal Song on my ticket either, but I didn't single. I thought that you could go, there's some other intriguing options in here. I'll start with the number 7 Bobrovsky, because originally my ticket was 2, 7, and 8. And I made some changes when I decided I wanted to include nitrogen next. And we'll have a laugh about that because of my first text to you about nitrogen yesterday. Um, so then I had to go back and forth and decide, is it Bobrovsky or is it Spirit of New York that I'm going to keep on my ticket? Uh, Ultimately, I decided to keep Spirit of New York on my ticket. Bobrovsky's for the Dale Romans barn with Junior Alvarado. His first two starts were on the dirt, so switching over to the turf, check out this angle right here for Dale Romans, Vinny. 22 starts going dirt to turf, 0%. And
Okay.
I looked into the numbers for Daredevil, who is the sire, who hits at 12% on turf sprints. However, he's 0 for with 2-year-olds, so not as precocious in wanting. So like I said, you're really trying to dive in, looking at some of these stats when you're dealing with 2-year-olds, but there's not a lot to use. The one thing that scared me, we've talked about horses that have been racing at Churchill coming up to the Spa. Well, I've taken it one step further using my RaceLens. And what about horses that raced at Churchill two back, then raced at Saratoga, and then raced on the turf? 21% positive ROI. That stat is just on fire, but you have to keep in mind a lot of those horses that have had success on that have been running on the turf all along. So there was only one that went the dirt angle to the turf. Most of that success has been horses that have been only running on the turf. So um, I decided to use Spirit of New York. I thought this was a nice debut in that restricted stakes for New York breds, and I guess that could probably be the reason that you knock the horse is with the competition in that. But I thought that this was a really nice effort, and I don't sleep on the fact that the horse has a victory over the Saratoga turf, the only one in the field here. I kind of like to lean on horses that have had, I subscribe to the handicap, the complete knowledge handicapper book, and it talks about how much horses learn in their first start and what they will come back at in their second start, right? And that was going to be my angle to play against Schwarzenegger, even though you got the word out that he's a monster, stepping right into the stakes company. And you made a good point that maybe that's why they want to debut him on Thursday and not put him right into that stakes company. Uh, Hopefully this horse can improve off of that effort up at Saratoga. The speed figure is obviously a little light when we just compared it to what we got with the number two. Price isn't as great as I'd like, but I'll take a shot with Spirit of New York also on my ticket. Any interest in either of those, Bobrovsky or Spirit of New York?
They both look interesting. I would personally go with the 7 Brovlowski over Spirit of New York, just because I feel like if Spirit of New York was better than the 2, Irad would stay on. That
Yeah.
that Irad rides for, like, Michael Dubb is part owner here. Irad rides for Dubb a lot. And Linda's go-to rider is Jose, so it's not like this is really that like a huge negative. But the fact that Irad rode first time out and now Irad's jumping ship, like, for an owner that he does ride for quite a bit, I kind of feel like Irad had the choice here and he took the Weaver horse over this horse. So that was kind of why. And also, I think you brought it up, the restrict going from state bred to open. I mean, that's big in my opinion. I don't think this horse is going to run bad. I just like you. The price for a horse that's coming out of a state bred race. I you know if this horse was 8-1, I think it's a little more interesting. But as your likely second choice here, with scratches, I can't do it going restricted to open stakes company.
I do like it. There's only two races that's 5 furlongs and 5.5 furlongs where I look at final times and do comparison because I think that helps me a lot. Those are, the sprints, the real sprints. And
Yep.
seeing him go 102 at 5.5 at Saratoga when, I know um, the other horse is going 104, 105. That kind of
Yep.
stood out to me as well. Now, does that mean you could beat Sandals Song, who went 58 seconds at Ascot? That's a hard to comparison to. But if that travel over for Sandals Song maybe is right taking something out of this horse, you never know. It's an angle I always talk about, the travel of these horses and how are they going to react. The horse has been working up at Saratoga and working up there very nicely, so I'm not concerned, which is why Sandal Song is on my ticket. But if that is a factor that comes in, Spirit of New York is the one that I decided to include.
Yeah, no, I completely get it, and like, yeah, sometimes we see these horses run great overseas, they ship back, and they're not the same. So it's one of those, yeah, what's a double edged sword. You gotta either take a stand or you go against it.
This month's prize for our Doubling Down contest, as we mentioned, is courtesy of DGen Design. Go over to dgendesign.com. We'll put the link in the description. Use the promo code DOUBLE for 10% off your order. Some great gear that they've mocked up for us there in collaboration between Trust the Profits and DGen Design. We'll take a quick break right here on Nesson Nation, but stick with us here on Trust the Profits as we continue through for race 2. All right, Vinny, leg 2 is the Alabama Stakes. It's a race that is going to have a pretty big impact on the 3-year-old filly division. We get the return of Good Cheer. We get Nitrogen going turf to dirt. We get La Cara coming back. And we get Queen Azteca, the horse that I call the World Traveler in my notes coming into the race. I thought it was a really interesting and exciting rendition. Although there's only 6, I think you get a pretty healthy field here to try to get through.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun field, and yeah, I mean it definitely has an impact on the 3-year-old filly division, depending on who comes out of this. So it definitely going to be interesting. You definitely have three, in my opinion, you have 3 horses that are going to take most of the money. You got, Good Cheer, Good Cheer. You got Nitrogen. You got La Cara. Those are the 3 horses that are going to take all sorts of money. The rest of them will probably be over 10-1. So if you like any of the other 3, if you play them because you get value, right? You're gonna get value on them. So where do you want to start here?
Well, good question. I asked you when we were going to look at which races to do what you thought about Good Cheer, and you were down on the horse. This horse has only been 7 for 8, had a hiccup in the Acorn. Was your Kentucky Oaks winner on Kentucky Derby weekend? You didn't use Good Cheer in your ticket. What's your concern?
It's 1, the layoff. 2, this is definitely not the goal with this horse. Like, yes, they would like to win, like they want to win this race, but I don't think this is the goal with Good Cheer. She's coming off the layoff. I just don't like how this race really sets up for her. On paper, at least, it looks like La Cara is lone speed. And that's pretty much, and like, yes, the Acorn was in the slot, but that's got Good Cheer, in my opinion, a lot closer than I think she wants to be. I think Good Cheer wants to be a couple lengths off, and if she's forced to be the one that presses La Cara, it probably costs both of them the race unless they're both just that much better. But the way I'm looking at this, I feel like La Cara is, has a comfortable 2-length lead until they turn for home, and then somebody's got to play catch me if you can. And maybe Good Cheer is good enough. If you're going to, usually these champion horses, if you're going to beat them first time off the layoff is when you take the shot against them, and that's kind of the logic I'm going with here, is that she's going to be the favorite, and if we're going to beat her, it's this time. I mean, if she could easily roll here, but not for me.
I'm going to ride with you. I'm going to throw out Good Cheer as well. Even though Luis Saez felt like the break was perfect for this horse and the workout felt like the horse was back to where he wanted her to be, I didn't want to use all 4 of the horses I liked, so I had to make a cut somewhere, and I'm going to cut Good Cheer as well. You can talk about La Cara, the only 2-time Grade 1 winner in the field here, who won that Acorn that you just talked about.
Yeah, I think she's a need the lead type. You look at her races, she's won for the most part, especially her stakes races. I mean, I doubt she has that Grade 3 where she came from off the pace. But you look at where all her number 1s was. Maiden race, she goes gate the wire, she wins by 8. Stakes race, has the lead the entire time, wins by 6. Stakes race, has the lead the entire time, wins by 1 1/4. Acorn has the lead the entire time, wins by 3. She definitely seems like a need the lead type, and I just don't know here who is really going to try to press her, because like your RaceLens shows with their projection, it seems like it's going to have to be good cheer, and I don't think Saez is going to compromise what she wants to really do just to hopefully soften up a horse on the front end. So I feel like she's gonna, he's gonna hope that she's just good enough and the speed comes back to her. Which, granted, the last couple of weeks, speed really hasn't been super friendly at Saratoga on the front end. So, little warning there. But yeah, the races she does well, she's lone speed, and I think she's lone speed today.
I'll use the 6 as well. I'm going to use the 5, Queen Azteca, the World Traveler, as I said, the horse that went over to Sweden. This horse was just recently purchased by Team Valor and brought back for the Alabama. Will be moved to Brissett after this race as far as the trainer is concerned. The reason I went here, Vinny, is this is a 1.25 mile race. Distance that many of them haven't had. And you're getting at least a somewhat of a sense of what Queen Azteca from a distance standpoint. Last time was 1.5 miles, 1.3 mile 3/8 in the race before that. Yes, those races were in Sweden. The owner said we're hoping to hit the board, which to me is not what I want to hear. When you're trying to find your horse to pick the winner for a double, maybe you put them underneath. But I thought that at 12-1, I thought that this was an interesting play. And from a distance standpoint, I want the horse on my ticket, so I found a way to get Queen Azteca on, and you did as well.
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of my logic was she's going to be a huge price, and really, if the race breaks down and for some reason Lacara just stops on the front end, maybe she's okay enough. I really don't know. I don't love that she's she's gone the distance, sure, but against much weaker. The UAE Derby has not come back fantastic. I believe Admire Daytona finished last in the Derby. She did come back out of that race and win, which was nice to see. So she has been running at farther distances. I just don't know if she's good enough to actually win here, but at what should be 15-1, I think it's worth a shot, at least on a double. A small double ticket where I have a single early on. Sure. I think she makes sense. So,
and the speed figures here jumped crossed to me, and she also ran a 7 on Thorograph, which just kind of puts her in condition. So the numbers, although the competition in Sweden is obviously not what we expect it to be, I'll rely on those figures and rely on at least the UAE Oaks and some of the competition that was running in Meydan as being at least, maybe not comparable, but much better than what was in Sweden.
Yeah, and I actually really liked her that day in the UAE Derby, and she got an okay trip. She just wasn't good enough. So it's we'll see how good she is.
Nitrogen is the horse who has been running really nicely on the turf. I found a way around Nitrogen using Fian in that Belmont Oaks. Prior to that, this horse had one race on the sloppy track at Saratoga. It was only a field of 3, so when you see winning by 17 lengths, you want to go over to the right and also pay attention that it was only a 3-horse field and just really ran well that day. Marcassi thought that it was good enough to maybe actually take a shot here in the Alabama, and I'm going to follow. I'm really not crazy about this right here, 9-5 for horse turf to dirt. But I wanted to use Nitrogen, which is why I cut Bobrovsky. So I found a way to get Nitrogen on my ticket. You used it as well.
Yeah, I think she's her pedigree says she can run on dirt. We've seen this before. The Medaglia d'Oro just kind of just pumps out good horses on either surface. Makes sense. Uncle Mo on the bottom. This horse definitely, I think, could run on the dirt. The main reason that I really wanted to add this horse is that Marcassi also trained Lacara. So if Lacara goes too quick, it sets up perfectly for his other horse. Because Nitrogen, I know, this style says presser. There's no way that this horse is going to press. This horse is going to be that 2-3 lengths behind, and she'll probably follow good cheer. This horse probably waits for Saez to make his move on Good Cheer. That's what Jose will probably do. He will wait for Good Cheer to move, and he will follow the move that Good Cheer does. So this horse is probably going to trip out. And as likely the second or third choice, because I don't think Nitrogen will be the favorite. I think Good Cheer will be the favorite. It just makes sense to keep this horse on tickets.
Absolutely. So that'll be our tickets for August 16th, 2025. Saratoga race 9 and 10. I'm going to go 2-8 with the 4-5-6. It'll cost me $6. Vinny's going to single that 2 and go with the 4-5-6. So hopefully we get a 2 with the 4-5-6 and we can both get off the schneid, Vinny, because that's what we want. Maybe viewers should press both of our opinions because you can only go over for so long. Hopefully you'll be up at, you're going to be at the Alabama real quick?
Yep, I will be there. Yep, I will be there this weekend. If you're going, send me a message. Come find me.
There you go. Go find Vinny. I'm Colin Sheehan. Please throw in the comments who you like, and don't forget to jump on the app and play along with us. This is Doubling Down. Until next time, good luck, everybody.